right, folks. Hey, welcome back to Long Island Main Street News, where we always bring you local business, government, and community leaders. And today we're zooming into our good friend, Assemblywoman Taylor Darling, who is the represents the Assembly, New York State Assembly 18th District. Mm-hmm. Hey, Taylor, how are you?
Eric, I am so excited to be back here with you. I feel like I can see you and hear you, but I'm just happy to be here, have the space with you, and I'm doing great today.
I know you got good energy, and sometimes being elected officials got to be a challenge, because there's a lot coming at you from all angles. I can imagine. But I think you and I had some great conversations, and I know last time we interviewed you in the studio in Plainview, more comprehensive interview about your background and your what inspires you to public life and all that. This is now part two. We're kind of going to zoom into one of the communities in your district, and then maybe read the tea leaves for the next legislative session. I know you got an election year first, so you got to deal with that. But just, you and I were talking about Hempstead downtown revitalization. It's been a long time coming, but it seems like the stars are aligning. A lot of people are working together. There's a lot of good news this year, it seems.
I could not say that any better. The stars are aligning, and fun fact, stars are my favorite shape. I use it in pretty much everything, government side, campaign side. I just love a star because it really signifies promise, future, and just elevation. And that is exactly what we have right now in the village of Hempstead. We have a mayor who is relentless in his pursuit to shift the narrative through real actions and initiatives to show that Hempstead is a great place to invest in. It is a great community that is just extremely on the up. Now's the time to really buy into Hempstead with real, true business proposals that are going to be mutually beneficial. And I could not be more excited that they have applied for a grant right now, the Downtown Revitalization Initiative grant. I don't think I wrote a letter of support so quickly in my life. And it is exactly what we need, because we have prepared this village to receive upgrades and investments. And we have people here ready and knowledgeable, and who will see this project to a place where that 10 million will look like 20 million by the time we're done.
Right. No, it sounds it. So, it's interesting because Hempstead, you have a 70,000 population, you have 400,000 square feet independent retail, which is really great. You have a lot of different cultures and languages spoken, and, a lot of great food and a lot of great, even just learning about kind of so talking to some folks who are plugging me into the art community within Hempstead and the music community in Hempstead. There's so many, and there's a strong small business base. There's so much going on. It's just getting all the levels of government to work together. In the past, maybe the village wasn't as plugged in, and then maybe the state was disconnected, and then where the county, and it seems like you've gotten all those levels of government working somewhat together, also the town and everything. Mm-hmm. So how did that come about, or, what's your part in it, shall I say?
I'll say, again, you always keep your ear to the streets and you understand what's going on when it comes to development and the communities in Long Island. And I just thank you again for your work and your knowledge. How we've been able to make this time and this space happen has really been just like what you said. This has been, I feel like, divine intervention at this point. I won my election, so you have a state elected who is really here with the community, who believes in the community, and who believes in action. We have action figures now, right? We have a mayor who has stepped in and said, we can talk all we want, but the way you get buy-in is through actions and consistency. And that's what he's been able to show in his initiatives to just really make sure we understand what's happening in the village and where we need to go. And then we have, our partners in the county and the town who right now, again, you have a strong mayor, it really makes things flow a lot easier. And as far as the state, we bring that money back here to the district. And when you have a mayor in a state representative working closely, this is what happens. So we want to use this time and not lose the momentum so that we can say, and we can see, we actually finally all came together and elevated this community. This community has remained stagnant at best for the past few decades, and that is of no one person's fault. But like you said, if we can't all play nice in the sandbox, these 5 layers of government, then it's a lot harder to get things accomplished. And we don't have to buy into this vision. We see it, we believe it, and we're willing to put our money and our time behind it.
No, I think that's powerful. And a lot of years ago, there was obviously a lot of public meetings on getting the redevelopment side of downtown Hempstead going, and you already have a really robust train station and a bus station, and so you've got that, and you got a faith community that's very strong. You do have a lot of government buildings keeping things off the tax rolls. It's a challenge,
Sure
and so you got to watch that. So, but there are many parking lots that can be developed on. That was a master development agreement with the Renaissance folks. That's still underway. But I've also found, which is really neat, the conversation isn't just about development. I see Labino out. We did a walking audit of improving some of the roadways to try to make sure they're safe. And, the county roadways, she's looking to put dollars in, so the county contributing their part to making the roads safer for pedestrians and bicyclists and people walking to church, walking to school, because it's a walking community. What trucks barrel through the neighborhood, and you gotta tame that. So she's doing her part, and I see the town at the table. I see my friend Shelley Brazy's out, and she's got plans for redoing parks and making sure families have a place in the community too. So it's not just how tall is that building, and it's going to be 5 stories, and we don't like it or we like it, and they're arguing. There's so many other elements to revitalization, and sometimes we lose the reason why we do this in the first place. Like, we want to be in a great downtown. We want to go down. I want to eat food. I eat lots of food. I eat my way through the village. So I've gotten chunkier, as I go.
You are perfect.
Oh, thank you. You're very kind. But I have eaten my way through a number of restaurants in your village, and I think, but you want that environment that's welcoming and safe and comfortable for everybody to come, and families to come at all times of the day and night, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done to have the right events and to have that. It seems like you're coming off of summer too. The village hosted a lot of events that were really well attended.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, really well done.
Music in the park. We had, National Night Out, music in the park. Every time we can have an event, again, the village is alive and well, and it is definitely moving that way. And I just want to say, like, Eric, so many people have made money off of the dysfunction that once was Hempstead. There's a lot of money in dysfunction, and it is so great to know that now people are coming to the table with mutually beneficial development opportunities. That's what we really need. So great job to our county, one of our county legislators, Labino. So happy she's doing the work to make sure our streets are safe. Shelley Brazy is an institution in her own right here in our community. And we were on a focus group together about regarding the DRI, the Downtown Revitalization Initiative. And Shelley we were just singing eye to eye right there. Everything that she said to contribute in that focus group was spot on. And for her and all the amazing leaders that have come before, because just because there was dysfunction doesn't mean we didn't have amazing leaders, but all of those amazing leaders, I would be honored to watch them cut some ribbons and see the fruits of their labor, those days, those lonely nights, those cold days when you felt like everyone gave up on your village, the place you're paying taxes. We could have a beautiful success story. Beautiful success story.
I think the coronavirus has helped focus people. I've noticed this in other communities where some of the wars and battles and fights people have had internally, because quite frankly, like you said, there are a lot of outside interlopers that benefit from dysfunction. I'm not going to name any in particular for Hempstead, but they're in every community. And
they're here.
They come in and you don't notice it's happening. You don't notice they're benefiting, how many lawyers are needed for X, Y, and Z, or how many delays in something and replans and redrawing.
Let me tell you, I'm coming back in my next life as a lawyer that deals in real estate because, honey, those invoices, woo, goodness gracious.
Yeah. So, it's that constant, pushing things off. And I think, and there's outside human service agencies that don't really connect to the community. We can go on and on and on. What I'd say is, through coronavirus, you realize you look to your left and you look to your right, and the local people are the people that helped. You helped each other. And even in your downtown business district, I got to shout out to your chamber. There's a whole group of people in the chamber and beyond. They're helping homeless people behind their stores. And each night they're out there. Tony Kelly and his crew, and there's so many others. And that spirit, I think, focuses people to say we can work together. Mm-hmm. And but I think there's a responsibility, and this is where you as a representative, there are state agencies that oftentimes prioritize outsiders or regional people to benefit from revitalization, when quite frankly there's local resources that should get prioritized in these things.
100%. And if you don't have a great streamlined process to A, communicate what the vision is, B, allow as many people with good intentions and the power to push that vision forward to be a part of that process, and to make sure that, like you said, we're connecting the resources with the vision, with this one space where we can all be a part, like a hub. Like, Hempstead's been known as the hub. That is our name, which is why I was very, very, very disappointed when Nassau County's the Coliseum at the county, they took over that hub name. And I said, these are the things that we have to deal with. Minority communities being able to just stake out a place where they belong, and they have the right to develop it and not have to go and visit other communities to eat and have fun with their families. Like I secretly have, and I'm going to share it with you first. We thought about it. We talked about it. What are some things that the surrounding areas don't have that we could have in our downtown? And I'm going to put it out here right now, time stamped: a skating rink. We do not have a skating rink. So I'm seeing a 2-level skating rink with an arcade, a place that's very chic, clean, simple, modern, where families can come of all backgrounds. We welcome Garden City, Rockville Center, everyone come to our area so that, your buying power can come and uplift our community, just like our buying power, because we usually have to leave our community to go and frequent the movies and restaurants. Our buying power has been supporting surrounding areas for decades. So it's going to be really exciting to see what happens when everyone's just done with the noise. Like, we're here, we're capable, we know how this works. Let's put everything we have into this together to see it work. And I would have to say, people who may have not been open to myself and my team initially, because we seemed like newcomers, we seemed like we were young, and we didn't really earn our stripes yet, right? You're right. Corona was one of the great stabilizers, because they saw, okay, she's still out here in the streets. They're making sure supplies get here. And it doesn't matter how you feel about me, because if you live here in the state of New York, you are my responsibility. And that's how I treat everyone. And this project and the tomorrow that I see for us, I am so happy to be a part of this process right now. You do not. I'm jumping through the screen because I'm just so happy right now.
I love the energy. Look,
we need to win. Hempstead for the win.
Look, and here's the thing, and I think to be clear for folks out there who don't know what DRIs mean. So the DRIs in New York State Downtown Revitalization Initiative. It's a funding program that has given money, in state grants directly to downtowns in Westbury, Hicksville, Baldwin, mm-hmm. Central Islip, and then most recently Riverhead and Amityville. 3 in Nassau, 3 in Suffolk. It's probably Nassau's turn again. I think, Hempstead had a really strong application for multiple years. And I believe, I personally think this is really your year, because I've written letters for you guys before, but for other communities simultaneous. I think Hempstead's probably the only letter we're writing for this year, sending an endorsement in on. And it's really the right time. And I think, look, in the past, like you said, we don't have to go over bad stuff, but the village wasn't looking to approve stuff. And since then, what I don't think we mentioned yet, the village has approved 2 redevelopment projects, one by Concern Housing, and other by the Conifer Group. And these are multifamily apartments and retail on the first floor. So there'll be jobs and retail coming in and to help the downtown. These are vacant lots that they're filling, and
Exactly.
you allowed that to happen. So so that now that progress been made, then have the state come and support and keep it going.
Exactly. And making sure that, again, when I say mutually beneficial development opportunities, we're looking at strong community benefits packages, and when I'm asked for my support on any development project, the first thing I ask is, let me see the community benefits package. And my suggestion of making sure we have a community benefits officer, one person who's a point of contact that is there to ensure that if our the percentage of Hempstead employees who should be hired falls below a certain percentage, that they reach out to us to help them with recruitment. We are here. We don't just drop the ball. And that's the thing. When you are responsible for tax dollars and people's everyday lives, there's no dropping of the ball. That downtown revitalization is my responsibility until my last breath, pretty much, making sure things stay on the up and up, and that everything that we committed to is met and then some. And that's what we really want to see, and I want to say for our potential corporate partners, we need real anchor stores to come into Hempstead. And you come in here, you just make sure you're, first in the pack. That would mean a lot of great things. You mentioned a multifamily home with commercial space at the bottom. I love small businesses as much as the next person. I'm on the small business committee. Those are that is the heart and soul of every community to me. However, when we can bring in anchor stores, when we can bring in a Starbucks and a Panera and a Trader Joe's and a Whole Foods, you already know what that community is about to become. And they're great at citing those areas, like scouting out those areas that are going to make a come up. And I'm telling everyone right now publicly, Hempstead Village is it. I want everyone to come here. This is Hempstead's year. I really, really believe we are going to make that grant so it's just going to have such an impact. I can't say enough. It's going to have such an impact. And I see it, I feel it, and I'm usually not wrong about these things. So.
And the grants have been powerful in other communities. I think Westbury's kind of the shining star of the use of public funds, those dollars to leverage other dollars. For example, what they did is they invested in an arts center and with a gallery space and performance space. They invested in street level improvements for traffic calming. They invested in remaking the community center. They invested in
and it's beautiful.
A new zoning code for it's beautiful.
The Yes
right?
We Can. Yeah. I love.
Well, that was on another grant, but for Post Avenue they have another one they rehab.
I haven't seen this one yet.
Yeah, and then they invested in their redo of their both parking garage and by the train station. And then they also got a transit-oriented development plan out of it, which is going to leverage might be 800 more units of housing, but with $1 billion of economic activity. So they got a lot coming. They got 2 projects under construction now there. So that was probably the best in class of doing it right. And I'm not going to mention who's was the worst in class of not doing it right.
We're gonna pray for
them. But there's some that have dragged along. The point is, I think Hempstead now has the ingredients for success. And I don't think I could fully say that in the past. And I think others feel that. I also think you're investing in your infrastructure, that state grant and providing some sewer money
and water. You have to be ready. You have to be prepared for that development. You have to be prepared for that development. And I want to say, Eric, I know you're always amplifying and communities and areas that need that voice, and your knowledge is probably second to none when it comes to downtown revitalization in Long Island. But I want to say, I just want to give you your stars publicly, your flowers, your stars. Eric, from the day that I did not have a seat at a certain place, you made sure I didn't just have a seat at the table. You gave me a seat on the stage where I belonged as a newly elected. And anytime I've had a question, anytime I've had a suggestion, anytime I've needed anything, when it comes to development in downtown, you were the first person I call, you answer every time. And you were my first guest on my Tuesdays with Taylor segment. And
we had fun with that. I remember that.
Yes, we did. Without people like you who say, I don't care what you look like, where you come from, where you represent. If you are an action figure, if you are a world changer, if you are someone who just gives a damn, you'll be able to have some space with me and I'll be able to guide you. I really appreciate you because you helped me learn things in the time I had to, which was yesterday when I came into this role. And I don't think I would have had the confidence to really even believe in something like this without our time that we spent and the knowledge you shared. So thank you, Eric Alexander, for all that you do. Thank you, Main Street.
It's doing my job.
Now listen, a lot of people have jobs. A lot of people have jobs. But a lot of people are not effective, and you are beyond effective. You have inspired me to believe and focus on downtown revitalization. I don't think I would have paid as much attention to it from a state level if it wasn't for your.
Definitely for that. I'm inviting you to my 25th anniversary party so we can talk about all the stuff we've done these years.
When is that?
And hopefully we'll be talking in Hempstead. We'll do it in we're doing it in September of 2023. We're going to be doing. Wow. We're going to take the show on the road, and we'll have a Hempstead stop. We are going to retrace our steps for 25 years. So we're taking this show, videos, and we're going to every stop, everywhere we've been. We're talking to before and afters. We're going to talk to people, what we did 20 years ago, how it's working now. Well,
I love
it's going to be crazy. It's going to be about 40 stops. We're going to have t-shirts, like 4 shirts.
I'm going to make a suggestion. You guys should do a time capsule.
Okay, yeah, maybe that too.
We just did a time capsule in Hempstead at the Road School, and it was the most beautiful experience to have all the children say what was important to them in the district from 2021, and they're going to open it in 10 years. And 25 years is no light feat, so you guys might need to do that. So the next time you can look at that time capsule, that's super cool. Super cool. Congratulations. Cool. I want to be a part of that, so.
Definitely, I'll make you a part. Hey, but we're still talking about you here. We're talking about Hempstead. We're in Albany. We got 5 minutes. I know you're on a deadline. So give me, but thank you. Give me the preview for Albany, this legislative session. Obviously, you've got to, you got to get through an election, and all that, and that's important. But assuming you're reelected, what's your priorities going into 2023?
So my priorities in 2023. I have delivered on everything that I said I would fight for with everything I have, with the exception of buses for Hempstead. Now, there are a whole bunch of people involved in that process and a whole bunch of reasons to why we have never had buses for our high school students, some of them walking 3 miles to school, 3 miles from school, across pretty much the whole village. So that is definitely
3 miles. That's insane.
Yes, and snow, sleet, and that's for the ones who decide to walk. So we've sent a message, I think, indirectly, I hope unintentionally, that our children aren't worthy of protection or making sure they get to school. So this is the only thing that really keeps me up at night as far as my overall district. Now, so that's a big focus to make sure we can see good. I just committed $1 million to this cause. So we're going to be able to hopefully get some shuttles and a couple of buses so we can maybe have a shuttle system. I just had to do something as a placeholder until we can figure out the best way to change the mileage requirement for Hempstead. What else is on the plan? Again, we're always fighting to ensure that our school districts are getting their beyond fair share, the share that they absolutely need. We are fighting to save Nassau University Medical Center and make sure that they are not just saved, but that they have the revenue streams to thrive. It's an amazing institution that helps so many uninsured, underinsured. I have family members that were born there, so saving that. We are also working on transportation supplements from the state to help our home care workers. A lot more of us are going to have to rely on home care, and home care workers take care of, disabled children and adults, elderly people. We are all going to rely on a home care worker. And right now,
it's an unheralded group, man. That is an unheralded group.
And they don't
lift that group up, man.
They do not make enough money at all because we are always putting them to the side. This is a group of workers who are primarily immigrant women, women of color. And so who's been their voice? It's been very, very hard, but we have some groups working hard, and I am a champion for them because they reside in my district, but have to help all of Long Island with barely.
They're helping everybody.
They're helping everyone. So we want to make sure we can really build up that workforce and develop it and attract the right people to come. And I think I have like 2 or 3 things, but those things are enough right now to keep me very, very busy.
It's a full agenda.
It's a full agenda. And then because we have to have the capacity to deal with everything that comes up. So I want to add one more thing, and I don't want to end on this note, but public safety has become a major issue right here throughout District 18. We recently had an incident in Hempstead, and we just really need to work with our federal partners and all the people who can bring about real action to combat this, because to just keep saying that we don't know how to solve it and it's really complicated and complex is not an answer. The community really wants to see some movement on that. We want to make sure our children are safe walking to and from school. Our elderly residents can go wherever they need to go during the day. And we're having shootings during the day, unfortunately throughout different areas of the district. And we have to definitely combat that. So I am very, very busy. My team is busy, but we are ready to rock and roll, and just grateful to have the honor and privilege to serve the 18th Assembly District and the state of New York, the great state of New York.
Great state. Okay. Well, and a great village of Hempstead, I think too, that you're serving too. So we're excited to see the progress there and other areas in your district. So yeah, this has been a great conversation. I know you're up against, we literally have a minute left. So any closing words you care to share on your way out?
Closing words, excellence for the 18th, everyone. Darling delivers, and that is what we're working for. We want you to internalize it. We want you to live in it. We want you to breathe it, because you deserve it.
All right. That's awesome. All right. Assemblywoman, thank you so much. Of course, folks can check you out on your Facebook and your all your various social media and your videos and check you out. Of course, they could call your office. And for us here at Visual and Long Island Main Street News, keep tuning in at 8 p.m. Each weeknight with new interviews with some awesome people like the Assemblywoman and others. Also continue to shop local and continue to support local organizations. Just at a food pantry today, very little on the shelves. Get dollars out to the and resources out to these food pantries and local organizations. We'll catch you in the next edition.